Hello and welcome to On the Other Hoof. It is Derby weekend, but of course on the Friday the Oaks will be headlining. We are joined today by Adam Webb as normal, and the guy that's sucking on his pen at the moment in that dignified manner is Sean Ellis, as
Hi.
you may know him as Shries. And happy birthday, Sean, as well. Thank you very much for
Happy
joining us on
birthday.
such short notice.
Thank you, boys.
Did you get nice,
Heartbeat.
except
Heartbeat. Yep.
except for except for being able to appear on this prestigious show?
Just
I thought it was his birthday wish, but
Just let that one go over. Before we get started, Price-wise has said his wisdom, which may not be much wisdom tomorrow. In the 2:10 at Epsom, he's gone for Gorn, and in the 4 o'clock, which is the Oaks, he's gone for Tarfasha, which isn't a bad shout, and Amazing Maria, who, well, the less said about that, the better, I think we'll say. We'll get straight into the action. The 135. I knocked this race earlier, but Sean said it's on the best race of the day for value. So, Sean, we'll let you have your first crack on the other hoof.
Basically, I'd go Odalys. Ran a really good race at York behind Ambivalent, who was Group 1 horse. Yeah, would you agree?
Yeah, not far off.
Not far off. Good enough rating. And it runs well on softer ground. I noticed he went to France twice, softer ground. Good at softer Epsom tomorrow.
But how soft do you reckon it'll be, though? Because it'll be the first time it's run on for the weekend. It could still be fresh ground on that front.
In the first race. He did. Well, I'd go good to soft. You'd like it's that soft, not be too soft.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the one. I'm not a fan of Zariga. Thistlebird runs well.
Yeah, I think me and Adam actually agree on Thistlebird, which is the worrying thing. It's just the judge we had a little chat about at the start, and I confess to never really being a fan of just the judge, but you kind of made a half case for her.
Yeah, I did.
yeah.
Well, kind of, yeah.
I backed in the Irish Oaks last year. Not the Irish. Yeah, the Irish
The Irish
Oaks.
Guineas.
Irish Guineas. But I think she wants a mile.
Yeah.
She run a Goodwood in the. What's a Goodwood race again?
The Nassau,
Yeah.
where she lost a shoe. Yeah, that was I can
Gosh,
forgive that, but she is
Oh,
just so inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's just
It's-
since
if
the Irish Guineas win, she's just not done anything. So
If the best form of just the judge turns up, then she'll take a lot of beating, but you
Yeah.
can't really take that.
you can forgive her first run, wasn't she?
Well,
in
yeah.
season?
Yeah, she's had her run now, so she'll be fit. But
Yeah.
me and Adam agree on one completely, and we've got this race down to a T. We've had Thistlebird gets to the front and stays there.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think Thistlebird, she's the choice for me. She's top rated in the race. I think James Dorr can ride the race perfectly, and she, for me, is the one to beat.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that it's probably not the strongest race we've ever seen. Thistlebird is probably the class horse of the race, as ratings would suggest as well. And she gets weight, well, everyone gets weight from Mango Diva, but I just can't really see Thistlebird. As long as she gets into front, I can't really see many ways that she can lose this, especially at Epsom, which can favour front runners. But Thistlebird for me, but I wouldn't be having a huge bet on this race. It's not really one that I'd get too stuck into. One that we may have a bigger bet on is the handicap coming up next, which is wide open. Adam, we'll let you have first crack at this one.
Well, to start this race off, I mean, you've got at the top mark. I mean, you've got Soviet Rock, who was third on his first run this season behind Snocking Star, who is my selection in the race. But he came out and won a handicap at Lingfield last time out, beating Blue Surf, and that looks good. And will go very close. But for me, Snocking Star was given a great ride over course and distance. Was second and 2 starts ago. Was disappointing last time at Red Car, but I'm willing to forgive that. And I think back over this course and distance, with Sylvester de Souza on board again, I think he'll take a bit of beating.
Yeah, I wouldn't put you off of that, but it's not. I don't know. I'd be a bit worried about his performance the last time out. The one I'm going for, I'm going to stick with Charles Camoin for one more run, who ran a brilliant race at Newbury and a massive handicap at the start of the year over a mile. Probably wanted a little bit further, and then really flattered to deceive in the race won by Snocking Star, I believe, at Epsom. Again, they're travelling really well, but I'm kind of hoping that he bounced that day because the Newbury run was after a significant layoff. What, a few months we're talking. not sort of the ridiculous years you get, but came there travelling really well. I thought, okay, assured for a place, but never really went through with it. So if Sylvester Kirk's got him right for tomorrow, and Jamie Spencer on board as well, which is a massive jockey booking, the likes of Liam Canary's been riding him before, which, okay, nothing against Liam Canary, but Jamie Spencer, obviously. about 12-1, if Charles Camoin is at his best, I think he could take a hell of a lot of beating here. And let's not forget, he's won over course and distance as well, so Epsom is absolutely no bother on him whatsoever. Sean, you're going for well, I'd say you're going to go with the sheep and go for Oisin Murphy, but that might be a bit offensive to you.
I'm taking Callum's mantle, aren't I? Aussie Reigns, overpriced.
Yeah, Callum's always... He put it
still
up upward.
third over course and distance at the back end of last year. Off a lower mark, but I think he's improved over the winter. Oisin, you get a worse jockey booking, can't you?
Yeah, you can get a lot of worse jockey booking.
You can get a lot worse these days. But the thing I can't get away with is Sanoki and Star. Adam's already cursed him.
Yeah, that would be the £10 penalty.
It's not the nap. It's not the nap. So it's not the £10 curse.
He was well fancied at Redcar when I was there. He was 7-1 the morning, backed off the boards really into 4-1. Hit 7-2 at one point. So I don't know. He was fancied that day, but just ran no race at all.
Yeah, beating 33.5 lengths wouldn't really inspire you coming to a handicap race, but you can forgive anything a run, can't you?
Yeah, you can forgive one bad run, so that's why I'm doing it. I mean, we know he likes to track, and he's one of the course and distance, and that for me is the key. And also the ground won't be an issue as well. So
I think you might want it softer because
I'm not overly sure about. I don't know. It was softer when he won at Epsom earlier on in the season.
If I'm honest, that Redcar, it was officially good to soft, but they were bouncing off the ground that day.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was soft at all.
It's one I want to put to you.
It was never in the race, the same as Arshimani for Luca Kamani.
Yeah.
So there were the two well fancied horses were never in the race. So
yeah, it's
if he thought he couldn't win it, he might have just thought, we'll keep him.
It's not the worst case in the world. But one that I wanted to really put to you guys was Tres Coronas. Last time out, that form is fantastic now with Clever Cookie winning obviously a listed race, or dead heating anyway. But 3/4 of a length behind Clever Cookie, although off 104, £10 higher than the last twice. It's got to be asking a bit much.
I think it is asking a bit much, but I think he has improved enough to merit another go in this. I mean, I remember Michael fancied him to Lincoln. It was his anti-post betting that, but he's since come out and improved for a 1.25 miles, and I give him an each way chance tomorrow. I don't think he'll win, and if he does win, then obviously they're going to have to go up in grade to a listed race or maybe even group class or group 3. But
yeah, they'd already spoke about doing that anyway.
Yeah, they had.
This might be the last handicap run, no matter what. But the thing that worried me is that run in the City and Suburban. Okay, it didn't run badly, but it was at Epsom and had to cut. Well, he was forced very wide that day. I'd just be a bit wary about taking Epsom form going into Epsom once more because it's a completely different track to anything else he'd run at.
Yeah.
But okay, and Adam, we just have to say well done. Apparently, Idea has absolutely bolted up at Kempton.
Yes, get in there.
According to Anthony Sherratt, anyway.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Finally, a handicapper on the video that's won.
To be fair, one of my handicappers is now hurdling for Desi Hughes. So.
Great start there. That's good. If Idea's bolting up, I'm quite pleased to hear that.
Yeah.
I've got one. What do you think of Farage?
I fancied him at Newmarket, and I thought he ran a really big race that day. He carried a lot of weight that day. The horse that finished...
That 5-year-old crop, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
It's the kind of horse you wouldn't be surprised if he won.
No.
Based on his third in the Breeders' Cup. But,
yeah.
Well, like that was 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. He's had problems.
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago, and he's had 5 runs since. One of them, okay, he did win the Winter Derby, but it's surely 5 runs in 2.5 years for a flat horse would syndicate that he's had his problems. Yeah.
And like you say, that horrible 5-year-old crop. Camelot was a good handicapper.
headed by Trumpet Major.
Yeah. You're right, fancy for the Home Cup. Oh, God.
Well, moving on to a race that's riddled with 5-year-olds, but the good kind that Sean might appreciate, and a race headed by one of my favourite flat horses anyway, and I know Adam's as well, with Gregorian, who just seems to be Mr. Consistent. Maybe not at the back end of last year, but before that, couldn't really run a bad race, and let's not forget it was third in the Queen Anne behind Declaration of War. I mentioned earlier this is just a penalty kick for Gregorian, which I firmly believe it is. Can either of you see him getting beat?
No.
I think he's gonna.
As Sean said, I'll let Sean make his point, but what Sean said, essentially, I agreed with completely, so I'll let Sean make his point.
Well, he runs well first time out, and if I'm honest, I think if he runs the same as he did last year and just beaten head off, beaten forever, you probably will win this race. Danger would be French Navy.
Yeah.
Likes it soft, he's run well. I did notice there's no Mikel Barcelona. Charlie Appleby's got Adam Kirby on again.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
The politics of Godolphin.
Yeah, that's sort of the talking point of the moment, isn't it?
Yes, it
With
is.
Sylvester de Souza being brushed aside for True Story.
I think
Okay.
Barcelona's got to stay with his mum and dad while he sorts things out back at home.
Missing Mum's cooking back home.
Oh.
Adam Kirby did win on French Navy last time.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, that's a good point.
And I mean, it's not as if Adam Kirby is a bad jockey booking, is it? Like Adam Kirby's probably one of the best out there at the moment.
Nine furlong, a length behind Muller Killock, who's 114 rated. Who apparently graphics 114 rated. I don't know who I would rather be on.
Yeah, we had that conversation before.
We had that conversation.
Is graphic really within £2 of Gregorian? Probably not.
Probably not.
Could you sort of see graphic running Declaration of War to, what was it, a length and a half?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's the way I'm sort of looking at it. Peloton obviously won last week. It wasn't one of the Scoop 6 races, was it? But
No, it wasn't.
but it was bottomless ground that day. I think he's back in form for sure. Before that, he's shown nothing, so he's got that going for him. But then the ground, not completely against him.
The ground tomorrow will be on the soft side of good. That's what they have intended for.
It'll be interesting to see at this point in the day. What is it? Third race. See if it's actually the top's kicking up.
Yeah, exactly. And if, as they've said, they're expecting rain on Saturday, and that will be a huge factor for them races. But tomorrow, I think we'll have the soft side of good. That's as quick as it will be for me.
Okay, so Adam Gregorian. I mentioned earlier on how far with Gregorian, then quickly retracted that statement and says Gregorian doesn't do impressive, he just does winning.
Yeah, he does winning.
When he wins, he'll sort of do it by a length, half a length. Yeah. He'll make you earn your winnings.
Well, basically for me, he's got the best form in the race. He was third in the Queen Anne. He's also beaten a very good horse in softballing rain at Newbury in August. And on them two form lines, I know it's his first run of the season and everything else is a prep run, but he runs well fresh, and he, for me, is the one to beat. So
yeah, he won this race last year. I can't see any way past Gregorian. Okay, we've mentioned first run this year, but Sean mentioned at the start, first time out, he's probably 111 rated horse. That still wins this for me. Like, he's running against race fit horses, but I just think he's the complete class act in this field. The danger that I can see against him is one at a big price, Highland Knight, who has been. Bear in mind, Highland Knight isn't the biggest horse in the world. He's been carrying massive weights around in all-weather contests at Lingfield. In competitive races as well. Came second last time, really took a step forward in his form. Course and distance winner here, back into sort of not the most competitive race in the world, is it? I mean, albeit it is a Group 3, but it's not really too competitive. He's probably going to bump into Gregorian. But if he gets a soft lead, he can be really hard to pass. And let's not forget that handicap win over course and distance that came here 2-3 years ago. I just think Highland Knight could beat the forgotten horse at 14-1.
£3 penalty as well.
Yeah, there is that, but I would take Highland Knight over a few in this race, especially at Epsom, if David Probert can really use sort of his course knowledge to the fore here. He could be really hard to catch if he can steal 3 lengths turning out of Tattenham Corner. Agree or no?
Yeah, I agree. He could do that.
Because I've backed him before many times. And then he
Oh
won.
yeah, I have as well.
Then he won the next one at like 25-1, and I didn't back him.
Yeah,
I
but I just think it's a case of Gregorian turns up, starts and wins. And he will be my nap of the day. But Highland Knight could be the one that sets it up for him, but could also be very hard to pass. But moving on to another handicap now, which if Michael was here, he'd love. But we have Adam. He's the next best thing. And Adam, one of your handicappers to follow won tonight in Idea,
Yeah.
and another one goes here in Red Avenger.
Yeah. I think a mile is sharp enough for him, although there is the extra, how many yards? 114 yards, so it's basically a mile and one. If the ground was genuinely good, I'd really fancy him tomorrow. But if it's a soft side, I think he'll get away with a soft side of good, but I wouldn't expect him to be winning if it is. Each way claims for him at best for me. It's all about abseil for me. I'm not going to back him, but if they want to get into something like the Hunt Cup, he's got to be winning tomorrow, and I expect him to win. Also, another of my favourites is in there, Fury, who I followed off a cliff and really fancied for the Hunt Cup last season. I'm not exactly going to be siding with him. He wasn't exactly
The amount of time
really well
you've mentioned that horse to me. Like, I think Fury can win tomorrow. And
yeah.
Don't do it to yourself again, Adam.
I don't think he can win tomorrow, and he probably will go and win tomorrow now on the back of me saying that. But yeah, I think Abseil wins it, but if I was to put something up, I'd have a small go on Red Avenger each way. If he runs well tomorrow at Royal Ascot, I think the Wolverton would be his race. A mile and a quarter on quick ground would be absolutely ideal for him. And plus, he's back in good form as well, because Ed Dunlop was reported to say in the racing post the other day that he's really well and coming back into some good form. So, yeah, I'm hopeful tomorrow.
Yeah. I would have to doff my cap to you if that did win, because you've been on about it pretty much since you were born.
Since the Britannia last season, I've been on about it. Joe, your favourite jockey, Joe Rosario, gave him interesting ride of the week, as I classed it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. American jockeyitis. Sean, your fancy for this?
Dance and Dance?
Don't you dare. Don't you even
not.
dare.
I can't see past Abseil, to be honest.
Yeah.
The rest look steady 80, 86 to 90 rated. There's not much improvers. I noticed Fallon's on Brian Ellison's Scoop 6 Buster.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So that might get a bigger price.
It's one that
a race for me.
One that I wanted to mention was it's not really a race that I'm going to get too heavily involved with. The Spirit of the Law, Richard Fahey's horse, cheap piece first time with George Challoner. Yeah, sorry, I'll get that out. George Challoner claiming 3. Drops slightly in trip, but only slightly. But the first time cheap piece at 25-1, right down at the bottom of the weights, effectively £4 lower than last time out when beaten 6 lengths by that clever cookie mentioning that form again. It could be a decent price at 25s if the cheap pieces can find anything.
I wouldn't put you off that.
Yeah, it's just the stable form would worry me a little bit. He hasn't particularly had the best start to the season, and especially not lately as well. That would be the only thing to worry me. Another one I quite like is Brocklebank as well, about 33-1. It was rated about in the 90s for the last 2 runs, and that's too high for him. But he had been running well without quite getting there on New Weather before that. Jack Doohan rides him absolutely magnificently, and he's also won round Epsom as well.
Yeah, yes.
So back off 85 with Jack Doohan taking off, obviously 5 off again, so 80, but he rides him most times out. I wouldn't be overly surprised to see Brocklebank put in a big performance, but again, it's sort of the race you have a quid each way and hope that something could beat Abseil, because Abseil looks fairly well in, even off 92 for me. And if Fury wins, then I'd like to see Adam's face afterwards.
You probably will. Oh.
But we move on to the Oaks now. And obviously, first year it's been run in memory of Henry Cecil, or Sir Henry Cecil, sorry, who obviously passed away almost a year to the day, and it will be on the 11th of June. It will be a year to the day of his passing. But a lovely sentiment here to sponsor the race, or not sponsor the race, but put the race in his name. A race that he completely dominated over the years, really. But it's not a vintage Oaks, is it?
No.
by any stretch of the imagination. Marvelous 7-2.
Keeper.
Too short, yeah. It's not really something that I'd be wanting to jump into.
I'm not convinced she'll stay, if I'm quite honest. I think she'll get a mile and a quarter, but that extra 2 furlongs, I'm not convinced about. I mean, yeah,
I don't really think there'll be any problem with her staying, but it's just there is that unknown, isn't there?
yeah, exactly. It'll be the same with Derby tomorrow. There's a lot of horses in both races that you look at as 10 furlong horses, and then you're thinking, will they get the extra 2 yet? And you're thinking, no.
It's a completely different discipline, isn't it, from a mile.
Yeah, it is. I mean, my selection is coming from a mile, but has run one over further, which is Itimal, who won at Maidan. I know Sean will enjoy the Maidan form coming in. I thought ran really well in the Guineas, considering I think she wants further, and that was a perfect prep run for this. Kieran Fallon, who used to ride Oaks winners for Henry Cecil, almost so every, what was it, I think it's like 99 here. I think Ramruna was I think Reams of Verse was one as well, the Cecil and Fallon. So he's got a good record in the race. If I had to have a bet, she would be the main one. Palace could be one that's overpriced because I think she'll improve the step up in trip. I am going to mention Amazing Maria, not because I fancy her. I don't think she'll get the trip. All her breeding just suggests that she'd be a very good miler. And why they're running here, I don't know, because I think she would absolutely bolt up in the Coronation, because that would be a perfect race for her.
One that's not a bad bet. You mentioned Palace. Each way claims for me by Fastnet Rock.
Yeah.
Palace and Fascinating Rock for a Fastnet Rock Oaks Guineas double.
Each way double.
Oaks Derby double. Sorry, being an idiot. That's not a bad price.
Each way double. I wouldn't put you off that, actually.
I'm quite sweet on Fascinating Rock for the Derby, but Palace does have to prove her staying ability big time. However, she does have Ryan Moore on first time.
Yes, that is another thing that I was going to make note of. Also, as well, I mean, the 1,000 Guineas trial where she apparently was in season, I thought that was a really good run, and that to me suggested that she won't further. So I was a bit surprised when they went for the 1,000 Guineas, the Irish Guineas, and she ran okay there, but I just think the step up in trip is going to help. If Ryan Moore's a huge advantage for me, she'd be the one each way, but I think Itamar wins.
Yeah, well, they've got to get her fit some way, so give her a nice little outing over a mile and then see what happens. But yeah, not without a chance. Sean, your fancy for the Oaks?
Volume.
Thank you very much. Moving on to that.
Yes, is it? But I think volume's better than 98 rated.
Yeah, that's one thing I agree on.
So, where do you put her in? Bit of value, I think.
What price? About 16 to 1?
Yeah, 16.
You can't dismiss an O'Brien outsider though in these races, can you?
No, the amount of times they've made us look stupid over the years.
I
saw the other day Dylan Thomas went off 33s or 25s for the Oaks for the Derby one year.
Yeah, he did, and he was second.
Yeah.
Treasure Beach as well.
Treasure Beach, yeah. It's what happens even in the Guineas, the Derby, and Oaks. You get these O'Brien overpriced horses, and they will run well.
Yeah.
You know, the last 3 winners have all been 20 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So,
that's the thing about this race, is that you'll get an improver.
I think Lily Rose could be priced at 50s as well.
Yeah, you mentioned Lily Rose in the chance.
It's not a. I think it's only 50 to 1 because it's not a very attractive owner trainer combination, is it?
No, not. It's not the most desirable, but.
But supplemented her.
She had a decent prep last time as well.
She ran well at York.
Yeah.
Better than I thought she would.
I know a couple of people that actually fancy Inchilla at a huge price as well, and I wouldn't put them off her. I mean, I think there's some at the top of the market that we haven't touched on yet, but I couldn't have Marvellous, I couldn't have Tagruda, and Tafasha I'm on the fence with.
Momentous is out of Monju.
Yeah. One that I'd throw at you before I mentioned my actual fancy. Anipa. We know she's going to stay.
Yeah.
Like, that's almost assured. She's won twice over 11 furlongs, and last time out of Chester I was very impressed. She's just absolutely tough as nails. And around 40 to 1, she's by Sea to Stars. That could be a huge price.
Nothing worse. I mean, there's a lot of place value in this race. I think the favourites are vulnerable. I think the form of Tagruda's win at Newmarket is absolutely rancid. Yes, she's also by Sea of Stars as well, and she's going to improve, but I can't have her. Marvellous, I'm not convinced she'll stay. Tarfasha, it was nice enough last time out, but they've had so many question marks over whether they're going to run or not. I mean, the ground is perfect for her, but
I was mentioning my fancy to you guys earlier on, and my plan for her this season was to hope that she runs in the Ribblesdale, and then I can back her there and she'll go and win it. But they supplemented her after saying that they weren't going to supplement her.
I can see why they have, though.
I can see why they have.
Very winnable Oaks.
Yeah, it's not the strongest race by any stretch of imagination, but she's a pivotal. It's Marsh Daisy, who ran a really nice race on debut at Newbury, completely forgotten the horse that she was behind. Bright Approach. Staying on really, really nicely, suggesting that she'd want further than 10 furlongs. She then went and won over that trip at Ascot, holding off Toast of New York, or
the Town.
Toast of the Town, yeah. I wish it was Toast of New York. Yeah, but then absolutely bolted up last time at Goodwood on testing ground, which she'll get tomorrow. But she was just going away further and further and further at the line. That was over 9 furlongs, though. Stamina, I don't think, will be any sort of problem for her whatsoever. I just can't see. Maybe Huey Morrison's an undesirable trainer at this level. Maybe that's why she's 12-1. But she just comes into this race, for me, as a standout on form. She just looks like she's got the world at her feet at the moment. 12-1, 104. I think she's much better than a 104 rated horse. I'd be slightly shocked almost if she was at the first 3.
Yeah.
Where would you put the Musadora winner?
Madam, I don't think she's good enough. It's not me being offensive. I think she's a nice horse, but I just the performance. I mean, I was at Luton. We watched them as a Dorothy, and we just sort of looked at each other afterwards and just went, "No,
I think
not for me."
A lot of
considering our Oaks fancy actually ran in that race, it was very disappointing.
A lot of horses in that were meant to run well didn't, which is the worry for me. Yeah, and that could go either two ways. That sort of the race didn't really come to fruition, or the main players weren't really as good as we thought. We've got Cambridge, Sharma, Lady Heidi to an extent, Late Night Request, Queen of Ice was sort of all down in the field. Then you've got Madame Chang fighting out with Lily Rules, who both turn up today, of course, and Regarde as well is also up there.
The ground was soft that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just questioning the form of the race, if I'm perfectly honest.
I think the better ground will be no issue for Madame Chang.
We all did that, didn't we? And it's had the French Derby winner.
We did actually, yeah. That's the thing, though. It's like we said, the Grey Gatsby's won that. I forget that. And then what Grey Gatsby did was, I thought it was very impressive. And
just destroyed a field.
Well,
I got laughed at the start of the year for mentioning the Grey Gatsby. Tormore and the Craven. I said the Grey Gatsby was the biggest danger, and everyone thought, "Don't be so stupid, he's an absolute rogue." And then when the Grey Gatsby came up 2 furlongs out, upsides, and oh no, this is not going to go well.
It was like as well before the 2000 Guineas. I said that the Grey Gatsby in an average Guineas, aka Camelot's Guineas, would have had a stonking chance. Would have probably won it.
That is very kind to call Camelot's Guineas average.
Yeah, I think Grey Gatsby would have probably won it.
Below average, I'd say. But if you guys have got any questions, quickly, I forgot to mention at the start of the video, just quickly send them in. If you've got any fancies for tomorrow as well, we'd love to hear from you, and we will read out every single tweet that we get in and try and answer every question to the best of our ability. We have one question in from David Goffey I'm going to go for, but it's about the Derby tomorrow. Is it all about Australia for the Derby? Took the 6-4, but will he drift further? Also had a bit on Geoffrey Chaucer. In a second I will be giving you my Derby sort of lowdown, because I won't be here tomorrow because I'm at a wedding.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's not like I'm missing all of the racing tomorrow. Go to the wedding and get back at ridiculous o'clock to go on Bet Racing Nation in the morning. It's life. But Australia at 6-4, I think, is a bit short. I do think he'll take a heck of a lot of beating. But 6-4 about a horse that the ground's an issue, the course is an issue, staying power may be an issue. Some people are mentioning that, but I wouldn't be taking 6-4 personally. You guys?
I wouldn't. I've I've written a blog which will be going up tomorrow, and I state in the blog that he will not be in the first three. After saying after the Guineas that I thought he'd win the Derby hard held, I've had to think about it, and I think if the ground comes up genuinely soft, I don't have him in the three. As good a horse he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll explain more tomorrow why.
I've got him in the 3.
I don't even like Kingston Hill.
The what?
Kingston Hill.
What about it?
I don't like him either. He's very.
No, I don't at all.
Come on now.
He's got a bad draw as well, Kingston Hill. Actually, that's an interesting point.
Where do you want to be drawn for the Guineas and the Oaks?
Where do you want to be? In the Oaks, you want, and in the Derby, you don't want to be drawn 1 or 2.
The Oaks and the Derby.
You don't want to be in 1 or 2. So 1 and 2 in the Oaks are Madame Xiang and Marvellous. So you can also use that against Marvellous if you want.
Yeah, the draw's gone bad. Okay, with the Derby, I'm going to give a very quick run. And I've written a blog and spent hours slaving away on that. But quickly, I'm going to go through the field as quick as I can and do an Adam, I'll say. A-Rod, I think, needs a bit more time and is more of a ledger type after last performance. Australia, very hard to beat, but there's a lot of doubts about for taking that prize. Ebanoran, I'm very, very sweet on each way. I think him and Fascinating Rock, that's the form to really take. And one question while you're there, why the hell is Geoffrey Chaucer 7-1 when these two comfortably beat it last time?
100%
okay,
agree.
wasn't Joseph O'Brien's finest moment, and Ryan Moore takes the ride tomorrow. But I still don't think Geoffrey Chaucer would have won with a clear run. So Fascinating Rock and Ebanoran, I think will be in the first 2. Impulsive Moment, Kingfisher, skip over that. Kingston Hill. People are jumping onto that bandwagon. Obviously, this trip will suit him more, but he was comfortably beaten by Australia in the Guineas. Like, really, really easily beaten. So, at this sort of price, still 8-1 wouldn't really tempt me about Kingston Hill at all. His form has got massive holes in it from the 2-year-old trophy. I'm just not convinced. Orchestra, I'd be surprised if Romsdal doesn't beat Orchestra, if I'm honest. Got such a soft run last time at Chester, just on the inside, and still almost got beat by Romsdal, who had to go around everything. Pinzolo, not for me. Red Galileo, I think's held on most accounts.
Sheen Murphy.
Yeah, but doesn't claim 3. I don't think we can. It's like 100-1 rank outsider in a cellar that's never won before and never been played. So he's got Ryan Moore though.
Yeah.
It's stats, don't they, Luke?
Sudden Wonder's one that I was interested at 66-1. If he's allowed to be True Story's pacemaker, which I really hope he is, he's got a massive chance at 66-1 to hit the frame. I baffled completely by tactics last time to hold him up. He's never been a horse with a massive turn of foot, and if he can set a really good tempo to this race, then it could be one that takes a lot of catching. True Story, I can't see him performing around Epsom whatsoever. If you watch the York race, he was completely off balance for a long time, turning him for home. For all you dressage fans out there, he was doing some perfect one-time changes for about 4 or 5 strides. If he does that at Epsom, there's no way he's getting around Tattenham Corner. And Western him in a gallop at Lingfield, hung in at Lingfield. Epsom didn't. I don't think he handled it whatsoever. But it's a horse I very much like for something like a Ledger later on in the season. But as far as the Derby goes, not for me. My 1, 2, 3 in the Derby, as it was on the blog, Fascinating Rock, I think, wins it from Australia and Ebanoran. Hopefully, anyway. If you agree with that, let us know. Sean, your thoughts on the Derby, and also we've got Empoli tomorrow as well, which we'd love to hear about.
Well, do you want to start for the Derby? I know you hate stats.
No, I don't hate stats. I despise stats with every single fibre in my body.
The last time a horse won the Derby, having not finished in the 1-2 last time out, was 1992.
Ooh, Dr. Devious. Ooh.
Wait, what was that again? Repeat that.
The last time a horse won the Derby, having finished outside the 1-2 last time, was 1992.
Yeah, we were born.
On that.
That was Dr. Devious when he went to Churchill Downs.
On that, we've got A-Rod. Ebanoran we can count. Fascinating Rock, Impulsive Moment, Kingfisher, Orchestra, Our Channel, Pinzolo, Romsdal, and Western Hymn.
But who are you taking out? You're taking Australia out, aren't you? There.
Australia's gone. Jeffrey Chaucer's gone.
The top three in the market's gone.
Kingston Hill's gone. Red
It.
Galileo, Sudden Wonder, and True Story.
I agree there. I mean,
Maybe the Derby though. I was sweet on True Story before that horrible Dante run. But if I'm honest, Vince Giroux was horribly out of form then as well.
yeah, he was.
Do you get where I'm coming from when I say that I don't think he'll handle the track at Epsom?
Oh yeah, and he's in Store 1.
Yeah, there is that.
Kingston Hill's in stall 2 as well, so...
Yeah. It's fascinating rocks from 15, Ebenor 6.
Darren's Town form for me. Fascinating rock.
Yeah, that is fantastic form. I'm really, really taken on by that race. I just don't get why Jeffrey Chaucer 7s. For goodness sake, why is it 7s?
Not for me.
I'm going to go more into that tomorrow. I had a rant, basically, in the blog.
I'll tell you why it's 7s. It's 7s because Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore.
It's because Aidan O'Brien come out and said, listen, obviously, don't forget about Jeffrey Chaucer. I was like, well, we haven't. He's in the betting. We know he's there.
Yeah. That is basically saying, don't get too caught up on Australia, please. I don't want all the hype around it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a lovely photo. Callum went out here.
Yeah, it's just, I just don't get why it's half the price of Fascinating Rock and Ebenoran.
No,
If anyone knows, please, answers on a postcard. I'd love to hear. But
16-1 Fascinating Rock was today.
yeah, it's just a huge, huge price. But I quickly want to hear your thoughts, Sean, before we let you go and enjoy your birthday, about the Coronation Cup. A horse that you've been going on about for years is Empathy.
I wrote a blog about it, actually. I put him up at the start of the year, didn't I?
Yeah.
You did. I think you actually messaged us or tweeted us on our preview video.
Yeah.
3-year-old, he was good. He was alright. He always ran at top level. He was 2 lengths behind Novelist, best horse in the world. And Shima Classic form wins it. If it's not Embley, it could be ambivalent. Because I like that form. Shima Classic form in this race has done well in the past, especially St Nicholas Abbey last 2 years.
Was this why you were trying to get me to say Ambivalent was a Group 1 horse earlier on in the video?
No, I'm just saying you think she's good at the top level. I think she...
I think
it was a fluke in Maydown.
I think she's out of place a little bit in this field.
But Emily had a horrible race. He got horribly held up by Mars on that first bend. And
Yeah.
he was 4 wide throughout. It was 5 wide on the final bend. And it was only beaten 2.5 lengths.
Yeah.
Gentle Donna in the series.
I
couldn't have Flincher first time out because Trev first time out against Cirrus was beaten the neck. Is Flincher better than Trev?
Probably not.
No.
Oh, no, absolutely
Yeah, probably not, but yeah.
I couldn't have talent at 16-1. Never mind 6-1.
Go on, mention the good thing.
I've already mentioned Emily.
Mention the each way good thing.
Joshua Tree, he's not at Woodbine.
Yeah, he's not in Canada.
He's not in Canada, so he can't win. Well, Red Cadeau's, man.
You've got Battalion and Beacon Lady.
Battalion, is he really 110 rated horse?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Or as I called him, Battle Lion.
Yeah.
Oops.
Battle Lion.
I was on my way back from Bet Racing Nation. I had Adam on the phone giving me a commentary of Mount Athos' race. And he's commentating on the phone. And he goes, yeah, Battle Lion is leading. And I was going, Adam, why don't you call it by its proper name, Battalion? He's like,
Oh yeah.
No.
I couldn't have Battle Lion. Beacon Lady is well out of that depth. Sorry.
But
Even
usually she would be. But at Epsom, she won hard on the bridle last time by, what was it, 8 lengths or something ridiculous like that.
Beating your favourite, beating one of your handicappers.
Oh god, Daddy, run.
But, do it.
But on a serious note with Empoli, has his temperament issues, I believe.
I hope he doesn't. If he doesn't go in the stalls, you're only going to get paid 1-2 on.
Yeah, so Empoli could in in a sense ruin the whole race for absolutely everyone.
Everyone's going to be annoyed with them, and it's going to be on my head. And
Yeah. Yeah. And now you've said it on just a massive online show as well.
just on YouTube. Yeah. But I couldn't have Cirrus as odds on. Back over 12, even if you just soft ground.
It could just be that Cirrus turns up, best horse in the race wins.
You could, yeah. But also, I wouldn't take Fincher and Talent in a month or some days. I'm Emily ambivalent Cirrus forecast. Combination forecast.
When that comes in, we'll be calling you back.
It's like, well, you can have Adam's place, Sean.
I do think.
Very sorry.
Shima Classic form wins the race. That's all I'm saying. Emily.
You look like a god if that comes off. But we'll move on to Adam's favourite time of day. It's nap time.
Oh God.
Sean, we'll let you go first.
I'd go Ellis.
Ellis, okay. Adam.
I'm just gonna go for Itamali Oaks. It's just
Okay, that's fair. I mentioned earlier Gregorian is the one that I'm going to. I just can't see any horse in that field beating him ever.
we've had some questions just before we go. Well, Jackie Kingdom's asked us, "Are you previewing the Market Raise and Bumper?" The answer is no, but I know
we were going to as well.
Were we? Oh.
Yeah, we were going to, but we got rid of that from the running order.
Oh, I
Yeah.
wrote that.
Good luck. Good luck to Chili Miss for the Racegoers Club. Jackie has a small share in the horse, and she won last time out at Market Raising, but might have a tougher task with the Donald McCain horse being the one to beat. Kai Wells has asked us for the chances of Abseil, but I think we all agreed that we think that he should be winning tomorrow if he wants to get into the Royal Hunt Cup.
But too short.
Got too short, yeah, I'd go with that. They're the only questions I got. Oh yeah, and Will Kajani wished you a happy birthday, Sean.
Yeah.
Oh, very much. How kind.
What did he actually get you for your birthday, though?
Oh.
Hello.
Absolutely nothing.
Very.
Here you go, know you. But
I can't even get a lucky 15 tomorrow. A naughty lucky 15.
Oh.
You're trying to live in Michael's. Well, we have lived in Michael's name here. Sean, if you'd like to unveil Michael's heritage.
There's only one called Tiger's Tail.
Well, I'm talking about minstrels.
Oh.
There we go, Michael. We're thinking of you, Michael.
I've took over the mantle.
What's that?
Should have stuck him live on air, like
He just sits there and eats.
Yeah. It's just a snack time. But that brings us to the end of our Oaks Day video. I won't be here tomorrow, so you have the joys of Adam Webb taking you through the card with Callum Liddell and Michael Andrews tomorrow. I hope you have a great time. I will have a lovely time at the wedding.
If you have it before we go, if you have any questions on the derby, send them to me, Callum or Michael, and we'll answer them in the video. A bit like the art video, really, because we asked for questions for that the night before as well, so it's a bit weird.
Well, good luck. I hope you're as successful as the art video was, because you took winners left, right, and centre that day, but your nap went down, so that doesn't really matter.
At least the derby winner gets a ticket to the Arc. That's sure to happen.
Sure, yeah.
Well, that happens every single year.
Yeah.
But
We'll see in October.
That would be today's video done and dusted. Sean, thank you for joining us on your birthday and wasting a day, pretty much.
If I tip every winner tomorrow,
You'll be back.
Yeah, you'll be first reserve.
Yeah.
Unless it's an important video, then maybe.
Yeah.
But at thank you everyone for watching. We hope you have a brilliant day tomorrow. I know I will at the wedding. We mentioned that. From everyone here on your booth. Goodbye.